Hi, everyone, and welcome to Our Disabled Future, a series where disabled voices lead the way. I'm your host, Nico, and it is a good day for disability inclusion. Each day, during Disability Pride Month and beyond, I'm amplifying real disabled voices, where we are, where we want to go, and how the heck we're going to get there. Together, I think. Anyway, today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Libby. Let's dive in. Hi, Libby. Thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Tell us about yourself and about your disabled life.
Okay, well, I'm 57 years young. I live in upstate New York, Rochester, for to be specific. I work part-time and still collect disability. I suffer from bipolar 1 and generalized anxiety disorder. And the way that affects my life is I have to check in with the psychiatrist, and I enjoy and benefit from weekly psychotherapy, and I take medication. Um, I mostly struggle from depression, but the only real chronic thing I suffer from that impacts my life is the social isolation. I'm child free and unattached. So when I come home and my apartment, to my apartment, and it's just me, honestly, that feels like a barrier.
I can understand how that sound would be very lonely. I'm sorry that you have to work with that.
Thank you.
Of course. Libby, you paint a really detailed picture of your current disability status and what you do to still lead a successful, productive life. So, what does a disability friendly future look like for you?
Well, at my age, when I was in college, and I graduated from New York University in 1991, and I was living in Manhattan, and I was diagnosed when I was a sophomore. And I didn't go to graduation because I was in the hospital and I was able to do assignments um, from the hospital. And so that was crummy. But after graduation and during college, in the late 90s, in the beginning of the 90s, mental health was not on the radar as much as it is today. I was, working, and we didn't really use the internet yet, and people, professionals were getting certified in inclusion. We generally kept mental illness for employers and potential employers as a secret. We felt, this is just my personal background, I didn't disclose because I certainly felt awkward and uncomfortable. And I felt that even if I could prove that was the reason I wasn't hired, it, it's expensive and stressful to go through legal processes. And I worked for community access in Manhattan. Their affordable housing and programming for the formerly homeless, mentally ill. And I was a case manager. And that's when I really got into the mental health civil rights movement. I learned a lot. I studied how to be a peer support specialist. and I worked under people that worked with and were associated with Howie the Harp and the term we were quote consumers. We got that was when nobody wanted to be called a patient. So that's when my activism and my inclusion awareness began. And that's where the roots of it are. But fast forward to now, I'm just really excited that um, inclusion and DEI is on the radar and people are aware of it, are talking about it, that services are getting improved. And I'm just talking about my little inner circle, the mental health world. Um, I, for example, have had no idea that for until recently um, that and if you present an image for the blind, you write a description of the image. That I mean, in my day, I'm really dating myself. When I was in school and starting out professionally, I didn't know that. I don't know if that was done. Um, uh, also, recently I learned that in Rochester, we have the largest deaf population per capita in the nation. So from time to time, I'll see people signing, and I have a friend who's a facilitator of a mental health support group with NAMI, and he signs, and his wife is deaf, and he's a coordinator in a technical college that's a part of the Rochester Institute of Technology, and that program is for the deaf. So I have deaf friends. I'm trying to learn sign, but um, I'm trying to describe what it was like, and it um, our rights were just beginning to be respected. Um, our rights were people were just learning that not all of us are unmedicated and violent. Just basic stuff. I mean, I was in college and I was suffering, and I had no idea that I could go to the dean of special services and get an alternative way of studying to graduate. I had an associate tell me, um, I knew of him. He was an administrator because I was in student government. He told me that I could do this. There, it just you didn't have what we have now.
Thank you for sharing more of your story. It sounds like you've been through some real social shifts in how we view and talk about mental health, especially. So you talked about kind of your own specific circumstances and then how that fits into wider trends historically as we become more accommodating to folks with mental health needs. Uh, how do we then build a future where we continue and even increase that inclusivity? What do you think?
Well, I struggle with the current presidential administration for all people who are disabled. So I don't know the future, excuse me, of those challenges. Um, I can only do my part. um, for what I know about. But that's pretty frightening for us all, I think, even people without barriers. So there's that. And then I just started with my LinkedIn profile, finding people such as yourself that are involved currently in making inclusion possible. I learned about an organization in Los Angeles called Making Space. I'm a part of their Ascend program, which helps disabled professionals transition to gainful employment with supports. So that's really exciting. Um, and I think part of at least my future is learning more about what's available in the current realm right now. Um, I hope to work in the future full time and emancipate myself that way. And I hope I can just continue uh, keeping in the loop with what's going on presently. And I think that's a big part of it. I will do what I can to contribute to the future, but it's kind of unknown for me because I just feel like I've struck the tip of the iceberg, including regarding inclusion and what it means for me and the rest of the country.
Libby, that's remarkable. In your answer, I hear a call for greater inclusion in general and also a more general awareness of disability issues. That sounds great. All right. As we wrap our time together, I want to give you some space and time that you and I, as disabled people, so rarely get, and that is a chance to brag about yourself, talk up any recent accomplishment or something that you're currently working on, maybe. If you want people to find you online, how do they do that? This is your
Okay,
time to be your own cheerleader. Let's hear it.
wow. Thank you. That's great. I'm grateful. I have a blossoming YouTube channel. It's Awesome Hair Day. It's about my journey from disability to gainful employment. And this weekend, I'm really excited because I'll be, like yourself, interviewing a person that is also a participant of Making Spaces Ascent program. She happens to be blind and she did it. She has her own business and she's building intergenerational wealth. So look for that. I invite people to check it out, my channel, Awesome Hair Day, on YouTube. Subscribe, that would be helpful as it grows. Um, and I'm not used to bragging about myself. So, yeah, so that's really basically me.
Thank you. I'll put the link to Awesome Hair Day in the video description when I post this. Libby,
Yeah,
thank you again for your perspective and your answers.
yeah, I hope I was helpful to
Of
the
course.
cyberspace community. It's been
Absolutely.
wonderful. I thank you for this opportunity.
Of course. Everybody, tune in next time. This is our disabled future, and we're building it one day at a time together. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next.